Hi, my name is Frederick Diskamps. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Manticore Games.
And my name is Jordan Maynard. I am the co-founder and chief creative officer of Manticore Games. I am Basilisk in-game here.
That's great, guys. So tell us what we're looking at right now. This is a new game that's in pre-alpha called Core. Like, it's not really, it's more of a toolbox, really.
Yeah, so Core is a few things, right? So it's in some ways the multiverse. You have multiple worlds and universes where you can jump in, play, collaborate, create all together. Core is also, a studio in a box, right? So lots of the things we're going to show you today have been made by solo creators in just a few days, sometimes even a few hours. Actually, lots of the games we're going to show you today were made by people who sometimes had never made games before. The winner of the D&D Core PAX contest is someone who was making 2D games. Actually, he made 2D mobile games before. He's a graphic artist from Finland, and he had no experience making games. And here he is making a game in less than 3 weeks and winning the contest. Actually, we're going to go look at his game right away. So that's Core. In essence, for creators, it's a very easy, simple way to create games, publish them, iterate, collaborate with other people. And for the players, it's kind of an endless arcade. It's a multiverse. You have games, you have worlds, you have scenes, you have experiences you can take part in with other people. Everything is real-time multiplayer in Core. You can also make solo games. You can make asynchronous games. On the platform, we already have third-person shooters, first-person shooters. We have merge 3 games. We have MMOs. We have RPGs. We have puzzle games. We have parkour games. We have adventure games. So we already have like a plethora of game genres already represented on the platform. And today we're going to show you the results of the D&D game contest that took place over 4 weeks. And we got 150 entries, 20 finalists, and tomorrow we're going to announce the 5 winners.
Yeah. So you take us, so these 3 people were entered a contest. Was this through specifically Wizards of the Coast, right?
Yeah, so we put together this contest with Wizards of the Coast using the D&D property. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, right? Dungeons and Dragons is user-generated content, traditionally, right? Like Wizards will print out the rule books and everything, but it's the dungeon masters and the players who are actually making the content for any given D&D campaign. So this contest, what we've put together here and what we're looking at right now on the screen is sort of a hub world where we can actually link all the winning entries together through these portals, and you'll be able to travel to the different games and back to the portal hub world and experience them all that way. So if we come over here and look at this one, this is the overall winner. This is the best one. It's called Forgotten Cisterns. If you walk up to it and hit F, we should actually just enter it together. And we'll go to Forgotten Cisterns. This one is made by a 20-year-old in Finland. He's an art student. He did this in a few weeks, sort of part-time after hours, because he is a full-time student. And Core made it really easy to put together this sort of fantasy environment, and also all the quest system and the combat. So if you walk up to her, she'll give you a quest, and you'll click through the dialogue, and then we'll go fight some skeletons. But yeah, like Frederick said, this person had no previous experience making, AAA quality 3D games. And he didn't have to, and he's an art student. He doesn't know how to program, but Core makes it easy, and Core gives you the tools and the ability to write the quest system, write the quests you want, put them in. She does talk a little bit. So as soon as you get through her intro, you should be able to come over to this door and go fight some skeletons. And I'll tank, since I've got the shield. Hit F on that door. I've got the shield and the sword, so I'll tank, and you can do the stabby DPS.
Now, in terms of talk about the tools that you provide players, is this like a visual? This is a visual game builder, right? Or is there actually coding? You can get into the nit and grit of it. Can you actually code lines of code if you know what you're doing?
Exactly that. So everything in core was built with the sort of philosophy of opt-in complexity. So you don't have to know how to code, but if you do know how to code, we provide Lua as a scripting interface and language, so you can write all your own, whatever you want, whether it's a combat system, whether it's your own physics and things like that. You have the ability to code that in Lua. Frederick, you're one-shotting everything.
I know I've been playing this game too much.
You're high level. Here you go. I'll block.
Like this game again was made by a 20-year-old in Finland. Is very exemplary of what you're gonna see in core. Part of our vision is to bring a new generation of creators to gaming. Gaming, as you know, is a very kind of restrictive and limited industry in so many ways, just like the movie industry, the book industry, the music industry. But here we're really opening up the gates to a new wave of creativity, a new generation of creators, because it is so easy to create in core. So we have multiple examples of people who are typically maybe already in gaming, but as quote unquote just graphic artists or artists, and here they are making amazing games, multiplayer, winning contests. We also have examples of people who had never made games before, and Patrick is back so he can share some of these anecdotes. So Patrick is our chief marketing officer, and he has go ahead, Patrick. We are being recorded, by the way.
Yeah, that recording's fine. I think I'm sorry, I'm jumping in the middle, so I'm not sure exactly what backstories you've talked about, but in the contest, we had 150 entrants. 60% of them had never been on core before. All the games that were submitted were built within 3 or 4 weeks. Of the winners, of the 20 winners, 60% of them were new to core 2, so it wasn't just like we had only the experienced people end up winning. Some of the winners included an ICU nurse, 2 brothers who had always dreamed about making a tournament-style game, and they finally were able to do it in core. One woman was a telephone receptionist, and she lost her job because of COVID, and she started taking some programming classes online, and then she heard about the D&D contest because she's a big D&D fan, and she built an amazing game, which is one of the winners in core. Another great game, one of the winner of our wilderness category, is the creative director at a haunted house in Utah. And he's like, this is just like building a haunted house. You got to like brief the actors. Instead, I'm making the actors. You got to build the sets. He's building the sets in core. And he was cool because he was actually streaming his contest entry on Twitch the whole time. So like for 3 weeks, he was streaming core and building out his world. And it's a very funny map with some traditional kind of like puzzly things where you got to move blocks to change the beam of light to hit the thing to open up the door. Nasty traps that are completely unexpected. I think that's part of one of the other things you see in this is everybody took the contest a little bit differently. Some are kind of traditional MMO style RPGs. Some of them are tactics-based, turn-based RPGs. Some are more action adventures. One is more of a platformer. So just so many different ways they interpreted a D&D game within core.
Now, when you're developing essentially a toolbox like this, what are some of the challenges? Because in normal game development, you have a story, or you have kind of like a mode, like Battle Royale, for example, people just doing this thing, and but you given the player, this is like almost a community-driven game where you try to put features in it that the community wants, and you think players would want to do to create their own Battle Royale experience.
Exactly. We try to.
Go ahead, Jordan.
No, I was just going to say, everything, as we built core from the ground up, we sort of thought about, we had to sort of rearrange our brains to sort of think at the meta level for everything like that. So instead of just making a Battle Royale, we made a Battle Royale toolkit, and we broke Battle Royale genre down into the different components that you would need, and give those to the creators so they can make a Battle Royale on a spherical planet if they wanted to, or things like that, right? So it's really different than traditional game development, but what we really try to do is take all of our collective, and we've got like hundreds of years, collective in the game industry, probably between even just, sadly, probably between just like the four of us on this call here. But we took our hundreds of years of game development experience and really tried to package it down to make it 10x faster to make games, and provide the servers and everything. Like you can literally one-click publish a game without ever having to write a single line of code, and it's multiplayer running on a server.
Dude, that's incredible, because I think there are a lot of tools that allow people to create their own, kind of games, but not to that level. I mean, it may be an enclosed thing that can only play on their system or invite, specifically on their computer, but...
Yeah, so the approach is very different from most of the other platforms you see out there, which all have their own merits, by the way, right? But you see lots of sandbox games. Well, a sandbox game is great. Like, I'm really not... dumping on them, but it still remains in the confine and limitations of the original game universe, etc. For better or for worse, you have games that allow modding, but again, it's still limited. And we love modding. Actually, one of our original tenets was coming from modding, but modding also doesn't allow you to monetize, right? And typically, you have only very limited tools. Here, we really decided to make a service that is a one-stop tool shop, right? So where you have everything, not just to make stuff, but make stuff multiplayer, real time if you want to, publish it. Also, it's not just a creativity platform, it's an economic platform. We want the creators to make money, make a living. That's very important. And so, what we're doing is fairly complex, very broad surface area, as you can imagine, lots of depths, but it's already paying off. We see, core being used in game jams all over the world now, and even taking market shares from some other engines that we remain unnamed, so it's very exciting to see that, because I think it's going to bring a new wave of creativity to gaming. It's going to bring new games, new creators. We've already seen that. If you have a crazy game idea, you can do it now, and you see if you find a market for it or not. You keep working at it, and maybe you will, right?
You said the magic word, because can't tell you how many people we've interviewed where these gigantic games were started off as a game jam. You know what I mean? Like What the Golf and some other games, just completely just a crunch time concept that took off.
Yep. Well, and the modding community, obviously, right? I mean, if you look at the biggest games out there, whether it's in some ways Minecraft, if you look at Riot, with League of Legends, you look at Counter-Strike, you look at Apex, Fortnite, etc. They all come from modding originally. So this is what we're doing is somewhat an extension of it, but with the not just the tools and the platform to create and publish, but also the economy and the players, right? It's not lots of these tools is almost a misnomer, because tools typically you use them to do just one thing, and then you have to move on to the next tool. And you still don't have multiplayer, still don't have publishing, while here it's all in there.
And I think I noticed Arthas behind you in a painting back there. So I'm assuming that you've played World of Warcraft. It's probably safe to assume.
Oh God, I've been playing it. I don't know forever long it's been out, 15 years or whatever long that COD game's been out. It's been out a long time.
And so, if you look at this map that's on my screen, right? I know you're still playing Forgotten Cisterns, but if you look at my screen on the video, this was made by one person, right? And it approaches what I would sort of consider WoW 2 quality. If Blizzard were to make a WoW 2 ever, I can imagine it sort of looking like this. But it was in fact made literally by one person.
We're here, of course, calling our friend Jay Brack, right? Jay, this is for you. We just said it. If you want to make World of Warcraft 2. We know there is a huge demand for it. I'm a dual subscriber to WoW, and I would play WoW too any day. Anyways, you get the point, right? I think it's this idea, and that's what we wanted to show off also with D&D, which is instead of investing tens of millions of dollars in large teams, etc., and wait years sometimes to see a game, here in just a few weeks we have hundreds of hours of gameplay available to players, right? So that's ultimately
And it's not just what the same old, right? It's also the weird, the funny, the types of worlds that these people create. It go from Norse mythology to a weird robot planet to cyberpunk. It's just it's such a wide range that a traditional publisher just doesn't have the time or the want to take the risk to do.
Yeah, so like where can people go to find more information about Core, and where can they go to like, to support it or figure out how this works and stuff like that? Where can they find more information about your game?
It's all on coregames.com. It's where you download the client. You can go there and browse games. And once you have the client, it's all free to play and free to create. And we're still in alpha, but it's all there's hundreds of great games to play.